Well, ladies and gentlemen, I finally got 5 bloody seconds to do a live stream. And so, good day. Today we're taking a look at Doom 2. It's been 30 goddamn years since this game came out, and time does fly. And hello, everyone. Hello, Neji Tech Pro and Snap Ninja. And today's going pretty good. I finally got a weekend for once. See, I haven't streamed in a while simply because I have not had pretty much any time to do anything. Way back in July, there was that hurricane. Power was out for like a week. And then after that, I was trying to catch up with the actual videos, and I had to, like, work 7 days a week for like a month. That's not as bad as it sounds. I mean, if you're working from home, it's not that bad, because you don't have to drive into the office every day. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Also, I had to drive in the office every day for like 17 days. We're not gonna last 17 hours, man! And my god, the traffic's even worse. And yeah, it's fun to finally be able to stream, finally, after all this time. It's ridiculous how little time I've had. Been having to go out of town, like, almost every bloody week. And it's not that bad, but, you know, if you've got to drive multiple hours every weekend, it's just, give me some time, people. So since it's been months, there's been all sorts of things that have gone on. We've had potential presidential assassinations, 2 of them. 1 was too many. Had some, then we're going to move on from that to, we've had the other candidate melting down and going nuts. And then in pop culture news, we've actually had some halfway decent movies come out. Most notably Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, I never really liked Deadpool. I mean, he's a decent supporting character, but I just don't feel like he can lead a movie. Deadpool 1 and 2 were perfectly adequate films, but I never had a reason to ever watch them again. Deadpool and Wolverine was pretty good, but the best parts were, of course, with the huge Jackman. I like how they immediately started making fun of the fact that this kind of like cheapens the Wolverine. Or no, it was Logan, that's what it was. Yeah, cheapens Logan. To be honest, I didn't like Logan that much in the first place. It was way too depressing for what it was. I mean, it's like, everybody's dead, man. We're just gonna torch the franchise and run. I've been doing alright. Cyrus Von Knox has been working all the bloody time. So we're just going to blast through a bit of Doom 2 here. This is just the regular Doom 2 with a couple of mods, mainly just Project Brutality, the heavy metal music mod, but it's just the original Doom 2 levels. Now, I remember when this came out, I did not even know Doom 2 was even going to be a thing. Because, like, when you're, like, 5 years old, you don't know what games are coming out because you generally don't care. Wow, his AI just kind of fucked up there. Smack him! Just kick him! I was, pretty quick to figure out how video games worked. It's actually quite fascinating to hear that, like, kids today, they're barely blasting through Mario when I was, like, all the way into Wolfenstein by, like, age 4. I gotta tell you though, trying to remember how to spell Wolfenstein, that was not an easy prospect. You know, some kids, they learn to play the piano, other kids learn to, play first-person shooters. Honestly, I think my time was the better well spent. Just saying. But, let's see, back to Wolverine versus Deadpool, or Wolverine and Deadpool. It wasn't bad, but, like, the dramatic parts were much better than the comedic parts. I just don't find Ryan Reynolds funny. Got Doom 3 to work with Doom 3. Gotta turn anti-aliasing off. Huh. Weird. I mean, that reminds me of a tech problem I had ages and ages ago with the Prepare to Die edition of Dark Souls 1. If I unplugged my microphone, the game would stop working. I have no idea why. Wolfenstein. There's actually some pretty good music. I don't remember this track here. I'm not sure if this is a remake of the Underhall's theme or not. But I like it. I'm not sure how much of that y'all can actually hear. Just because I have to make sure this is down so you can hear me. But it's pretty good. It's pretty rocking. Yeah, so Doom 2, we'll get back to Deadpool and Wolverine in a second. Like, Doom 2, I never liked it as much as the original. It really does go on way too long. And I didn't know that until somewhat recently, like a decade ago, when I first streamed this game. And yes, I did stream it, but sadly that stream is long since been lost. Due to a hard drive issue. No, you bastard! Get away from me, Pinky. I better just save. Just save. Now we don't have to go through all that again. This is where the game gets a little difficult. Right on the second level. Like, this is meant for people who actually knew how to play the game. It's always kind of the problem with sequels. But when I first streamed this game back in 2014, I didn't know how long this game even was. Because I hadn't done a full playthrough in a couple of years, so I just kind of forgot. But I was going and going and going, and it's like, is this going to be over anytime soon? I went like 3 hours. And the levels aren't that great. Like, this level isn't bad, and the next couple levels won't be bad, but eventually they just get really tedious. And that's really the best way to describe Doom 2, is it's just kind of tedious. And it doesn't have the best balancing either. Like, some levels can be really easy, some are way more difficult than they should be. Like the pit. The pit's just annoying. I might actually skip that if we get to it in a stream. But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine had a decent enough plot, but it wasn't that great. It was very comic booky. I mean, I guess that's fitting considering it's a comic book movie, but the worst kind of comic book plot. Something that's way too convoluted for its own good. That's one of the reasons why I'm just not a big comic book fan. Because a lot of those plots are just so out there in terms of, like, things leading to things where the writers pull things out of their asses all the time. It's kind of hard to take seriously. Say you prefer Project Brutality over Brutal Doom? Seen Alien Romulus. Okay, so I prefer Project Brutality over Brutal Doom because this is much more complex. You got a bunch more enemy types, you've got more weapons. It feels just a bit more polished and tightened. I guess I could do like a full video on that at some point, but yeah, it takes what Brutal Doom did and just does it better. I mean, I could quote the meme of like, I do what you do, but better. I mean, it kind of does that. I mean, we've got... Also, it feels a little better balanced. If you compare the damage output in Brutal Doom to Project Brutality is a lot fairer. Like, a lot fairer. Like, you can just get shot once or twice in Brutal Doom, and you're already down to, like, no health. Whereas this... Well, look at this. I can just let him shoot me, and he's not doing that much damage. I mean, it's like, it's not nothing, but I'm not in danger of really dying to this guy. Okay, you got your little shield. Well, have a grenade, sir. Yeah, it didn't really help you much, did it? Where, like this guy, he does a good amount of damage, but I swear, those machine gun zombies, they do so much more. Or the shotgunners. If this was Brutal Doom, I would have been killed by that one blast. It's just not as fun. At least to me. As for Alien Romulus, no, I have not. I gotta be honest, I just don't really care about the Alien franchise, or any sort of modern-day Alien stuff anymore. Mainly because it's just, it's just rehashing the same stuff. Like, I don't need to see a movie about, you know, oh, they found the big chap, and, like, he's gonna kill a bunch of people, and then we're gonna have, here's a spoiler. I already know what happens in the movie, but here's a spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it and care. They do the whole alien resurrection. We're gonna have a hybrid xenomorph. And the hybrid xenomorph is scary, but, like, didn't we already do that? And I looked at the trailer, and the trailer didn't look that entertaining either. It's one of those things where, like, the plot, the cast has to be, like, 12 years old for whatever reason. You ever notice, like, in modern-day cinema, we don't have old people anymore. You don't have, like, Charles Bronson or, you know, I know Charles Bronson is dead, but I'm, like, using that as an example. You don't have somebody in their 40s being, like, a leading character anymore. Or when you do, it's something crap like Borderlands. Ugh. That came and went, didn't it? But yeah, as for Alien Romulus, it's just going to be the same old crap over and over again. It might as well have been done by AI. For all I know, it was done by AI. There we go, there's the flashlight. If they wanted to, if I was going to watch an Alien thing, I'd want them to actually do something different. You know, like expand the universe more instead of just, they're on a spaceship, a xenomorph is going to kill some people, and eventually the xenomorph is defeated, the end. It's like, there's so much more you can do. And so much more was done in the comics in the 90s. It's like, do that. Like, the xenomorph is a plot device, nothing more. You don't have to base an entire movie around it anymore. And that's what the first movie is supposed to do. You know, like, set up, you know, start setting up some corporate stuff, things like that. sadly, no one seems to want to do that. Wow, $5. And hello, Triple X Medic. Short controlled bursts. Ugh, Prometheus. That's another reason why I have not gone to see Romulus. I remember going to see Prometheus. I know it's pronounced Prometheus, but I just want to fuck with people. When I went to see Prometheus, I was so excited beyond imagining. It's like, I get to see like a new Alien movie, man. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. I can't wait to see it. And then in the first 5 minutes, I knew it was going to be garbage. I knew it was going to be trash. Also, thanks again, Triple X Medic. But yeah, and then Alien Covenant, I assume, was even worse. Just looking at some of the scenes. It's just no. Please, God, no. Don't make me watch garbage. Don't make me pay $50 to go see trash. Because, yes, movies are about that much now. Like, if you want to get a popcorn of any size, if you want to get, you know, like a drink or anything, yeah, you're paying $50. That's what I've paid the last few times I've gone to the movies, and if I'm going to go see something, it had better be entertaining. And Deadpool and Wolverine, yeah, that was pretty entertaining, except for the Deadpool parts. Like the fact that we finally got Gambit. Like the fact that after all these years we got Blade back. There's only ever going to be one Blade. And that was a great movie-going experience. But I think for me, my favorite movie of the year is that Transformers 1. I never liked... Actually, no, I take that back. I did like the modern-day Transformers. By modern day, I mean all the way back to 2007. And talk about time flying. In 2007, I was 18, and I was the target audience for Transformers 2007, and it blew me away, but it does not stand up to repeated viewings. But Transformers 1 does, because there's no stupid humans. You know, you don't have Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf waddling around. It actually had a pretty good plot of, you know, Optimus's origin and Megatron's descent into villainy. I thought it was a pretty good descent too. And here's a spoiler for that movie. It's where Megatron goes in, basically turns to evil because his entire world is turned upside down. He basically becomes a doomer that decides to do something about it. That's effectively what happens to him, is he becomes a doomer. And I don't mean the good kind that plays Doom. I mean the other kind. Let's see. Chatting about how it's time. Some corporate scenarios get, not bad. More than $50. Yeah, AAA games are something that I don't guess it matters how much they cost, simply because they're not worth getting. At least most of the time. Like, I've heard that Space Marine's good. I've seen some gameplay of it. It looks more Dark Souls-y than one would want from that, but whatever. I don't really get AAA games anymore. It's because none of them really interest me. Honestly, the Indiana Jones game looks like it might be halfway adequate, but I just never really cared that much about Indiana Jones. Bip. Less advanced. And yes, they do feel less advanced just because they are. They really simplified a lot of things. I mean, just compare, like, Predator Concrete Jungle, which I will stream at some point. Like, Predator Concrete Jungle was a very, you know, not necessarily a budget game, but it wasn't like it wasn't something that was extremely advanced, but look at how much gameplay was in that compared to, like, the latest Assassin's Creed game. Or that, what was that game that died really fast? There's some kind of pirate thing that Ubisoft came up with. It, like, died within a month or something. And then Concord, that also died, too. It's supposed to be a hero shooter, and it cost, like, $500 million, and it died within 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, gaming and everything is suffering from a lack of creativity. And I'm afraid we're not going to get any good creativity for a long time. Because, like, the people that knew what they were doing have either aged out or been pushed out. And we're kind of stuck with nothing. Yeah, Skull and Bones. Doesn't look too... Great Circle. Never heard of it. Comic origin, or is this a gladiator? Well, Transformers 1 kind of does the same thing, except instead of a gladiator, he's a miner. I think that works a little better. I always kind of question, like, advanced societies that have gladiatorial games. I don't know. I mean, I get that a bunch of slack-jawed primitives would want to see people bashing each other's heads in, but I don't know. I mean, could you have an advanced society that actually likes to see legitimate blood sports? I mean, arguably you could say that, like, MMA is like that or something, or, like, Ultimate Fighting is like blood sports, but nobody dies in that. And even, like, in real life, the gladiatorial games were not always to the death or fatal anyway, because you have, like, a major league athlete, you don't want them to die, because they're going to be extremely expensive to replace. But really, the Cybertronians should have been much more advanced than to have people bashing, or robots bashing each other in the head. Great Circle. Oh, okay. I've never heard of... I did not know that was the name. There's all these games that come out that I don't care about. Especially a lot of these indie games that, like, have gameplay that does not interest me in the slightest. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, huh? It's like, we're going to go on the great journey! Let's not do that, shall we? I don't think we ever saw what happened when people got hit by a halo array. I guess people do, I guess you just die or something? That's something that was never really explored, and I'm glad wasn't. I can only imagine how ultra-violent 343 would make that. And yet, yeah, you got Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and The Last Crusade, but it started out with just Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was a pretty nice title. The only problem with Indiana Jones is it's a limited franchise. You can only do so much with that, because, for one, it's based almost entirely around Harrison Ford's charisma, and eventually he's going to get too old, and he is too old now. I guess you could, like, have an AI Harrison Ford, but it's just not going to work. Can you imagine an Indiana Jones movie done entirely by AI? See, AI has come a long way. AI is nothing more than just machine learning. It's not actually intelligent. We're not making Terminators. Let's see, what's the problem here? YouTube is not receiving enough experience buffering. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on. Recently got fiber internet, so this should be running better than it ever has been, but, you know, we gotta have some kind of technical problem. Now, see, these levels are great, but we're gonna get to the tedious one soon enough. Now, tricks and traps, actually, I could just totally end this right now by jumping up here and mantling. Why not? Let's just mantle, people. And this is where the game starts to get really tedious, right here. I mean, once you get to this point, this is usually where I kind of start, as the cool kids say, noping out, because this is a level that goes on way too long. It's a little more complex than it needs to be, because, like, Doom is good for just quick, you know, fast gameplay without a lot of level navigation. And this is not that. And we're barely at all into the game, and it's just, yeah. It's just, yeah. As you'll see as we play through this, it's just not that great. Actually, wait, let me get my auto shotty out of here. And hello, Agnostic Librarian. Dial of Destiny. Yeah, I have no interest in watching that either. I mean, of course he has the female sidekick. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a female sidekick, because that can work. I mean, just look at The Mummy, which might as well be an unofficial Indiana Jones movie. But modern-day female sidekicks are generally not very pleasant, because they always have to tear down the male character, and they do! Thank you, Kathleen Kennedy. Thank you, Meh Bomb. Let's see. Oh, Doom Trick, PS1 Doom, Xbox. Yeah, eventually I got to do a video on the Lost mission. I started recording some gameplay footage for that, but I just kind of got distracted by everything else. I've actually been playing a crap ton of Dark Souls recently. I finally got back into that. I finally figured out how to play that game. Turns out the way to actually play Dark Souls the fun way is to be a mage, because you can actually attack things from a distance. and do a shitload of damage. Already got the first game completely recorded, and I'll probably get a video out on that next year. I'm gonna shoot for January, because that's gonna be a long goddamn video. Can you imagine, like, technically Dark Souls is a retro game now. It's a classic game. That's crazy to me, because it's over 10 years old. Because if you consider that back in 2007 or so, no, 2008, when I got into retro games, what I was calling a retro game would have been less than 20 years old at that point. It's like the Super Nintendo was a thing only maybe, what, 11 or 12 years prior to that? It does kind of go to show you how little things have developed, though, because when you consider, if you compare like the PS5 to the PS4, there's not much of a change there, or even the PS3 to the PS5. It's really not a night and day difference, and a lot of it's just remasters of previous games. Whereas if you just compare the N64 to the Super Nintendo, it is literally an order of magnitude different. I don't know, 10 years might be. Like, if you consider, like, well, consider this. 2007 to 1997. How different was gaming in 1997 versus 2007? Doom Guy and John Wick both have a pet called Daisy. I still need to watch John Wick. I've never seen a single John Wick movie in my entire life. That is a lot of chain gun guys. Except they don't have chain guns. They have miniguns. Chain guns use a chain, apparently. Okay, let's use that. Dark Souls, but unless I'm mistaken, the keyboard and mouse. I just use a controller. I pretty much only use a controller these days. It's better on my hands. I'm getting old. Come on, shoot him! Shoot him! I only really have hand pain, but then again, I've been using a keyboard for the last 36 years almost. Yeah, just use a controller. They're cheap. Because I can't imagine trying to play Dark Souls with keyboard and mouse. I mean, I guess it can be done, but it's not something I'd recommend. Of the trilogy, I'd say that Dark Souls 2 might be my favorite. I'm still playing through that again. Dark Souls 3, I think, is probably my least favorite. Because every enemy in that game acts like they're on both Coke and Red Bull. Like they mixed like some sort of a Red Bull Coke speedball and just shot it right in their eyes. Because my god, that game is fast. And I'm not really into that, because it means I have to actually pay attention and try, and it's like, well, what do I want to do that for? I'm trying to relax here, people. Actually got a comment saying that was the easiest. It's like, really? That's the easiest? I mean, when it comes to, like, Dark Souls difficulty, you've got the issue of, like, Dark Souls 1 starts off easy, gets really hard. Dark Souls 2 kind of meanders, and Dark Souls 3 throws you straight into the deep end. Like, I'm talking straight into the deep end. Like, killing that first boss, like, the thing is, like, going from Dark Souls 2 to Dark Souls 3, it really is a world of difference. Because, like, you've got to get used to the fact that they move fast. Because if you don't, you're gonna die a lot. I was playing Dark Souls 3, on the Steam Deck not too long ago. And it runs great on the Steam Deck. But, my god, trying to kill Bald of the Boreal Valley, that took me forever. I guess maybe because I wasn't used to the much smaller screen of the Steam Deck, but man. Let's see. Souls-like games. Let's see. First two Doom games. Yeah, Dark Souls 2, they definitely tried a lot of new things. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Like the fact that when you die, what ends up happening is you start losing more and more health unless you get a special ring, which, you know, that ring kind of cheapens the whole thing of, like, losing more health as you die. But, you know, it does kind of penalize you for dying because you have to still use that ring and it takes up a good slot. But if you've never played Dark Souls before, my recommendation, I'm going to mention this in the video, but my recommendation is play as the mage. If you can't master parrying, just be a mage, because the mage is by far the easiest class. You know, you float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, you know? Oh yeah, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're playing this on GC Doom. The Night Dive remaster it does have mod support, which is good, but they also had to censor it a little bit because of the red cross being annoying these days. That's why all the crosses will be green or blue. They did that in Dark Forces as well. They're very serious about that these days. And the DLCs. Beat the boss with a club, eh? Yeah, I never could get that parrying down right. Just shoot him in the face with a spell. Ever see the Doom movie with Carl Urban and The Rock? I actually did a video on that way back in like 2012. But unfortunately, ran afoul of copyright and I lost the original copy anyway. But yeah, I did see it. I thought it was one of the biggest pieces of shit I ever willingly sat through. Everybody talks about that great first-person shooter sequence, and yes, it was a pretty good sequence, but man, was it... Getting to that point was absolute agony. You know, for a movie that is supposed to be about an action first-person shooter, it acts more like Resident Evil. It's like even the demons aren't actually demons, they're created via a virus. And I know the whole lore about how the producer didn't want to have anything satanic. Then why did you decide to do a Doom movie, you idiot? I've even seen the second Doom movie, and there's a review of that up at the channel. And that second Doom movie was better, but still pretty terrible. And I mean really, really terrible. It had the Doom girl in it instead of Doom guy. That doesn't, I guess, mean that much, but come on. She also kind of lacked any sort of screen presence. I don't know why they choose females who have no personality at all. Committing war crimes. Let's see. Yeah, goodbye, Triple S Medic. Legacy of Rust is okay-ish. I've never played... Oh, I know what that is. Yeah, I've not played that yet. And hello, Flaming Wookie Cookie. And yeah, the Doom movie, the first one was based more on Doom 3. Kind of, but not really. It's basically a Resident Evil movie. Use that movie as a guilty pleasure. It causes lag. Dark Doom Z flashlight. Yeah, it can cause lag. Although, I haven't had any with just using the basic... Oh wow, that's awesome. I didn't even know this was in this mod. It's a Quake 2 enemy. God damn it. A spriteized Quake 2 enemy. Yeah, it's the tank from, I think, like, halfway in the game. And I'm just gonna hide right here. There should be a BFG in there. When I consider something so bad it's good, I think it has to actually be a little bit good to begin with. And yeah, the Doom movie from 2005, not so great. Even the Marines in that, they're not even Marines. They're the double RTS. It's like, really? You couldn't have had some kind of pun with like first-person shooter in that? Really? The Force Projection Service or something. You couldn't have had that. Why have RTS? Because since when was Doom a real-time strategy game? I mean, such a thing could happen, I guess, although it doesn't really fit because we don't really know that many factions. Okay, this is really annoying. And the only reason we have to even go over here is to get a key. Yep. Gotta just keep getting blasted. Hydraulic press channel. Yeah, pretty much. I've always tried to think like what a guilty pleasure is for me. Armageddon is what I would consider a guilty pleasure. It's got all that great 90s cheese in it. I think Twister is also a pretty great guilty pleasure. I mean, it's a movie about like evil tornadoes. Jaws 4. That is a guilty pleasure for me. I mean, Michael Caine in a Jaws movie. The Voodoo Shark. I don't know if that thing's dead or not. Because that thing had a lot more health than the Hell Knight. That's a mancubus, huh? Oh, I bet that's just... Come on, crush him! Crush him! But the original Doom movie was just... Yeah, it was boring. The characters were practically non-existent. And yeah, like The Rock wasn't even the hero, he was the villain. Really? How do you fuck that up? He's still not dead. Creed the band. You know, I know what that band is, but I've never actually listened to any of their music, so yeah. The excavator, eh? I think we finally... Just kick him. I can't get a real gun out. Keep kicking him. Oh, crap. Burn him. Burn him. Finally, that guy died. My God. Trying to crush Diamond. Yeah, I've seen that interview with him where it's like, I've never seen it, but I've seen the house. I mean, hey, you know what? I mean, I don't know how you sequelized Jaws in the first place, so I'm glad at least somebody got something out of that. But yeah, Jaws 4, I remember watching the VHS tape more times than I want to count because, well, I was a kid. Like sub 10 years old when I saw it. I thought it was actually pretty good. I haven't seen it since, so I'm pretty sure it's terrible. Pretty sure. Yeah, I remember that line. Loyal to the core. It's like, then why exactly did you did not Doom guy turn into a Baron? Then there's oh yeah, then you end the movie that's based upon a first-person shooter with a punch-up. It makes no sense to me. And then there's a scene in that movie where like one of the Marines is fighting against like an imp with a CRT computer monitor. In the future, no less. Unless like one of the scientists was really into retro gaming, there's no way you would find on a futuristic science facility... Oh crap, I'm so dead. Nope, I'm somehow still... No, I'm dead now. Would you find a CRT computer monitor? I don't know who came up with that idea, but whatever. Of course, then again, the Stargate Command had CRTs until the early 2000s. And by that point, they had starships. How does that make sense? It's one of those things. You ever look at those old sci-fi shows like Stargate, and it's like, how different would it be with like modern day technology? Rotor. I've seen like a few scenes on YouTube, but I couldn't tell you what the movie was about. Has punching lore accurate? I guess it does, but still, is from genre killing zombies, testosterone. Yeah, but like, there's barely any of that in that movie, though. Like, all you really see are the Marines just kind of waddling around, you know, not really doing much. It's just a movie where they walk around an obvious soundstage in the dark. And they do the same thing in the second Doom movie, only cheaper. Like, they had less of a budget. Let's see, what am I trying to do? I already forgot. I think we have to, like, pull that switch, jump in there. See, this is where this game gets really annoying. No, it's not it. I think we need to get that thing to come down so we can get the key. And how do I do that? Oh, the switch is over there. Ugh, whatever. Retro Obsession. Yeah, I suppose. There's been one good Wolfenstein movie, but it wasn't called Wolfenstein. It was called SS Doom Trooper, but it might as well be Return to Castle Wolfenstein. It was even cheaper than that god-awful Doom movie, but they still made it entertaining. I've not seen it since the early 2000s because you couldn't get it on DVD back when DVD was a thing, except in Serbia, of all places. I don't know why. So I've not had a chance to watch it, but from what I remember, it was actually pretty entertaining. They had the guy who played Jonas Quinn in Stargate as B.J. Blazkowicz. The titular Doom Trooper looked a lot like the Ubersoldaten from Return to Castle. And the CG was bad, but at least the characters got to do something. I think they even blew up a tank, which is obviously a T-34, but who cares? At least they got to do something. Unlike in that god-awful Doom movie. And in that second Doom movie, too, they don't actually do much of anything either. At least the second Doom movie, we've got Dr. Betruger in it as the main villain. But But Doom Girl in the second Doom movie doesn't have much of a personality. Her BFG looks like it's made out of paper, like some cheap paper model off of Etsy. I mean, really, all she'd have to do is pay $1,000, or she. All the director would have had to have done is pay $1,000 off of Etsy to get a real BFG, but whatever. When it comes to video game-based movies, they don't have to be bad. They just usually are. Just look at that second Mortal Kombat movie. And I'm not talking about Annihilation. That's another guilty pleasure. I love Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I have that on DVD still. I will never get rid of it. That is a hilariously fun movie. I won't even say it's bad. It's just kind of dumb in places. And the guy who plays Shao Kahn was also a Klingon in TNG. I actually would rather watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation than that first Doom movie. Because at least shit is happening in the Mortal Kombat Annihilation movie. At least something's going on. I'd actually rather watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation than that modern day Mortal Kombat movie. Because that one was also kind of boring and... Come on, kick through the shields! Ugh, you know what? I'm gonna waste one of my grenades on you. Yeah, turtle behind that, you bastard. Could a Warhammer movie be good? Yes, if done right, which it never would be, so it would likely be terrible. The only way you could make a Warhammer movie good is if you got a talented director, which few exist today. And even then, like, there's a good chance no one would watch it. Because I think Transformers 1 did really bad at the box office, which is kind of sad. But if you wanted to make a Warhammer 40k movie, what you would do is you would adapt either Caiaphas Cain or Eisenhorn. It would have to be one of those. And it would have to be a very limited story. I think Eisenhorn would be a better idea. Like, just do the first book. You would have to simplify a few things, cut out a few characters. But you could do it. And you might have to tone down some of the violence. And I'm trying to think, like, they might end up messing up the universe. They might tone it down too much, like Judge Dredd. But you could make the first Eisenhorn book into a movie pretty easily. Because it's a fairly open and shut kind of story. It's cinematic enough. I think what you would have to change, though, is at the end of the novel... it's kind of inconclusive in a few places, and there's no, like, final big fight that I'm not sure if there was a fight or not. I don't think there was. You'd have to have some sort of climactic battle between Eisenhorn and the character Chua Bale, which doesn't happen, I don't think. I think he just throws himself into, like, a fiery pit or something. But you have that, it'd be golden. People might like it. Maybe. Caiaphas Cain would be a better idea just because that's a much more approachable character. Actually, rereading Caiaphas Cain right now. The third book. The Traitor's Hand. It's weird that the writer Sandy Mitchell can write Caiaphas Cain so well, but all of his other stuff is pretty terrible. Like, he wrote a couple Warhammer fantasy books, and they were god-awful. He also wrote a couple other 40k books that were also pretty boring as well. Live action is also guilty pleasure. Actually, I gotta also add the 95 Judge Dredd is also a guilty pleasure of mine. I thought Rob Schneider actually was pretty good in that. Rob Schneider's not that bad of an actor. He can be funny if he's given the right material. Also, Mr. Deeds, the 2002 Adam Sandler comedy, is another guilty pleasure of mine. But yeah, there was a 95 Dread or 2012. 95 Dread is toned down considerably. 2012 Dread is more like the comic to a certain extent, but very limited. Just because they didn't have much of a budget. It's like, it's obviously filmed in South Africa. Yeah, I like Click too. That is actually a pretty good movie. I haven't seen it in a long bloody time, but from what I remember, it was pretty good. It starts out as, you know, like sort of a pseudo-comedy that becomes a drama. And Adam Sandler, he can act. He actually does have the acting chops to pull off a lot of these characters. The first Resident Evil movie. Okay, so like, I hate the first Resident Evil movie because I was so excited to see it. That's gonna be a common refrain when it comes to this stuff, because like, I'm usually excited to see this stuff, hoping it's gonna be good, and then it's nothing like it's supposed to be. Like, the first Resident Evil movie has nothing to do with the games. Like, it has nothing to do with it. It has the director's wife as like this Mary Sue character that just becomes more Mary Sue as time goes along. When it comes to those Resident Evil movies, my favorite of them all would of course be Resident Evil 2, because the chick playing Jill is really, really hot. And also is a fan of the Smith & Wesson Model 59, which are great pistols, just with absolutely shit triggers. Talking, those triggers are terrible. But other than that, they're pretty good. They're at least reliable firearms, if nothing else. Demolition Man, I wouldn't call that a guilty pleasure, though. That's actually a pretty good movie. Into the infested starport. That's where we were? Now, the writing in this is always a bit weird. Okay. The monsters have brought their own reality with them, and the starport's technology is being subverted by their presence. Like, that sounds very 40K-esque. And an outpost to hell? Yeah, I don't know. Holds Earth's population hostage. Also, this level's pretty crap, but whatever. I've already, well, usually have long since stopped playing the game by this point. RE Apocalypse for the guns. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about Resident Evil Apocalypse... Now, we could fight all these enemies, right? Or what we could do... Actually, let's save this guy here. Let's see, I forgot how to actually activate items with a controller. Is it enter? Yeah, it is. There we go. Remember, kids, don't use drugs unless you're fighting foul demons. It's not adding anyone from the game in it just for the sake of it. Yeah, but like, if we could have based something on a game, you should at least have the, you know, characters from it, you know? Maybe some of the villains instead of just a random... Well, that was an easy level. Alright, let's save again. No! Oh, you idiot. What did I do? What? I know how to use... Where is that autosave? There we go. Yeah, the game had the last laugh, I guess, because I actually hit quick load instead. It's always weird to talk to people who are fans of the game, who think that Resident Evil 4 is not even a real Resident Evil game, and yet like the movies. I don't understand it. It is weird. It is strange, but that's people for you. I want to grab that rocket launcher, but we probably don't need that anyway. Okay, let's at least rescue our Marine buddy here and then immediately leave the level. Again. Be free! And I'll be free too. Hated Demolition Man as a kid. I don't know if that would... I saw it as a kid too, but I didn't think it was a stupid action movie. I like stupid action movies. But, yeah, like not Resident Evil. Demolition Man was a scarily accurate prediction of the future. That has come true in a variety of places, unfortunately. I mean, I think most governments have always wanted the population to be very pliant. But I don't think that was actually something that governments wanted throughout history, though. Because the more I think about it, you know, the vast majority of governments throughout the vast majority of human history never really cared that much about the proles. And the proles were too worried about survival anyway, so... See, I like RE4 and hate the vast majority of those movies. Resident Evil 4 is the first Resident Evil game I actually played to completion. Like, I'd fiddled around at a couple of the other ones, but I never really got into them. But RE4, like, the gameplay made sense. I liked Leon Kennedy. Actually, just get that working on the Steam Deck. The PS2 version, not the PC port. Yeah, that PC port, the first one, terrible. Absolutely terrible. But the Ultimate HD Edition is not bad. But I'm just running the PS2 version on it because I'm trying to save space, and that one's a lot smaller than the modern one. Guilty. The police fighting undead. Oh crap! I was too busy reading the chat. Yeah, those great Bellaphors have splash damage, whereas the original Hell Knight did not. I hate it when the game likes to spawn them. Oh, this is a really awesome remix of this track. And oh, they're all Bellaphors. Holy crap. Yeah, this is a really kick-ass remake. It was dumb. The plot sounded nonsensical. Yeah, Idiocracy's kind of scary, though. Especially now. All I can say is Exterminatus is not necessarily something I'd recommend, but some planets need it more than others. Because clearly that's got to have some sort of chaos incursion, because damn. Now, in reality, something like Idiocracy happening would never... It's not feasible. People might be stupid, but they're not that stupid. Very few societies would allow themselves to be dumbed down that much. I mean, in the media, it seems like society is really stupid, but it isn't as bad as the media would make it out to be. Whenever you see something like on the news or something like that, that's usually through some sort of heavily distorted lens. Ah, that's not a good place to go. Yeah, fuck it, just run. Hide me. I used to really like Tricks and Traps, but this is kind of a bullshit level. I mean, it's basically just nothing but monster closets. Tango and Cash. I remember nothing about it. And so, since I remember nothing about it, it must have been really disappointing. I mean, you've got, you know, the guy from Big Trouble in Little China and Sylvester Stallone. You would think something like that would be extremely memorable. See, the 80s might have been the best era for movies and new franchises, but not everything could be a winner. I mean, not everything was going to be Big Trouble in Little China. That is a movie that, if you were to watch stuff on TV, that is such a weird movie to get into. It's like you're watching it, it looks just like a traditional, you know, regular movie, and then the supernatural shit comes in, it's like, what the hell am I watching? Oh, that poor guy, he is so dead. Now, this nail gun is extremely overpowered. I love it, because it does give you kind of an edge against the enemies. Because, like, right now, if I didn't have this nail gun and invincibility, I would be dead many times over. Oh, get the rune! Unfortunately, I'm not able to transform, because I've got the invincibility. Oh, come on, just keep blasting him. Oh, crap. I don't even know what this thing is. It's doing, like, scratch damage, but whatever. Gonna blow him up! Got him. Project Brutality. Yeah, Kurt Russell was also Snake Plissken, along with a few other great characters. He also played Santa Claus in the Christmas Chronicles, which is, I think, my second favorite Christmas movie. With the first, of course, being The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Quest for Fire. I do not know what that is. Big Trouble. Switches the genres. Yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn also does that, but From Dusk Till Dawn is one of those movies that they didn't really know what they were doing, I think. Because, like, the main head vampire was died way too easy. It's like, we're just gonna hit her once with, like, I think it was just a stake in, like, the first 5 minutes of the battle. It's like, really? And how did that thing... Why was that thing such a threat, then? If you can kill her off that fast. But I will say that Selma Hayek was pretty hot in that. See, that's the sad part about TV being long since obsolete, is it did have a few things going for it. Like, you could discover stuff you never heard of before. And, of course, there were a lot of cool moments like, you know, Big Trouble in Little China. But one of the other ones that will always stick in my mind is the one time I caught Commando on TV. I'd never heard of it before. Certainly never certainly never seen it. And so I was just watching Schwarzenegger talking to this kidnapper, and you know how the media trope usually goes is where he has to like cooperate, and the kidnapper's all like, "That means you got to work with us, right?" And then Schwarzenegger turns around with a PTR-91 and just shoots him in the head. Wrong. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And it made me want to get a PTR-91 really, really bad. Unfortunately, those rifles were very expensive even back then. And it wouldn't be until 2020 that I'd finally get one. And it was every bit worth the hype. A bit heavy, though. That is not a light rifle. I would hate to have to march, 20 miles with a ruck and that thing on my back. Honey Boo Boo? Quest for Fire is a movie about Neanderthals. Huh. That actually sounds kind of interesting. Kind of like that Clan of the Cave Bear thing. What's a Honey Boo Boo? Oh, I know what that is. That's that woman that, Yeah, I remember reading something about that a while back. That I think the Honey Boo Boo, if I'm not mistaken, was like one of those, was like a model or something. Like one of those child models. And then I think she grew up and went to jail or something. Like she was trying to steal a car. Very sad, very sad. Okay, so this is the Pit, which is, I think, the most annoying level in all of Doom. I'm not a big fan of it. A Beretta 92 FS from Resident Evil. I mean, they're not that expensive. They're only about $600-700. I got a Beretta 92D, which I actually already did a video on it. That's pretty nice. Double action only. They don't really make stuff like that much anymore, just because people aren't really fond of double action, especially with striker fired stuff these days. But the Beretta 92D is pretty nice. One of the other issues with the Beretta is you can't put an optic on it, so that's another reason why it's not quite as versatile as a more modern gun. I actually got to put a new rear sight on that thing. Shoots way too low. Like, ridiculously low. Like, I've got to hold like 6 inches over the target to hit anything. Oh, you bastards. Few of the Tech War movies. I didn't even know there were Tech War movies. Watching TV in 2013. A fat child model I found of South Park. Yeah, that does seem like South Park fodder. But yeah, I stopped watching TV in 2008 when I discovered media preservation. It's like... It's actually kind of funny, though. No, it was 2009 when I finally moved away from TV. I still remember renting DVDs back in 2008. A couple of the really early videos, actually, like super early, they're not even up on the channel anymore, actually had footage from rented DVDs that I would use DVD shrink on. Ah, those were the days. Those transitory days as things changed from the past into the future. Let's see. I'm doing pretty good, and I'm glad you like the first-person shooter game reviews, although there's not going to be one until next month. Next week's review is of Predator Concrete Jungle, which I already did a video on back in 2010. Man, those were the days. Yeah, this level is just not very good. Like, I do not like this level. I'm going to skip it in just a minute, assuming I can remember the keyboard command to do so. Is a boatload in this economy? Well, yeah, but like, it's not like it's $1,000. It's not like, well, that $5,000 Largo alien. Like, who would spend $5,000 on a pistol? Discovered me 2013. Well, I actually back up a lot of my paper books with digital copies that were preserved. I would never get like anything off of Amazon Kindle though, just because Amazon can. Not that I'm condoning what I'm about to say, but there is a way to preserve Amazon books. There's actually tutorials on it on YouTube. So nudge, nudge, hint, hint, wink, wink that you can do that. You just have to download an older version of Kindle and a few other things as well. So, yeah. Facing TV shows gets a filler. You know, that is one problem with TV. especially classic TV shows, they do have to have a lot of filler because they've got to have an episode every week for like, I think, a few months. And so there's only so much they can really do. And so what you'll see is there's a lot of episodes that don't really have much importance to the overall plot or the myth arc. But then some of those filler episodes can actually be pretty good, like The Inner Light from Star Trek TNG. Like, that is a legitimately good episode. But it has nothing to do with anything and is forgotten almost immediately. Okay, you bastard. Guess what? We're just gonna go all God Genrai on him, right? Internet archive stays intact. If it doesn't, there will be a replacement at some point. Because you can't stop the signal. That's the main thing to remember, is you can't stop the signal. Because there's always going to be people who are going to preserve a lot of this stuff. Okay, let's save here. They're going to preserve a lot of this stuff. Hell, people have even preserved my videos, and I'm a nobody. Like, no joke. Somebody actually preserved an old video on the Japanese RoboCops that I've long since lost. I tried putting it back up, but as you might imagine, YouTube immediately took it back down, and then the hard drive it was on also died, so I was kind of screwed on that one, but whatever. No one will ever get to see Japanese RoboCop. Those are actually some pretty good shows, too. Like, the Japanese RoboCop I recommend the most is this guy named Jan Person. He's basically purple RoboCop, and when I say basically purple RoboCop, I mean that. He actually legitimately shoots people. Usually they're monsters in, like, really crappy makeup, but he acts more like RoboCop than RoboCop did in RoboCop the series. Because apparently in Japan they go hardcore, because, yeah, he was allowed to kill people. And he did! But, let's see, yeah, in that show, Jan Person's evil villain was, of course, and I'm not making this up, I swear this is true, because I watched it unsubtitled, and literally the villain for Japanese RoboCop is a guy named Bill Goldie. I'm not making that up. I swear it's true. I don't know why his name was in English. I don't know why. But as we all know, RoboCop's greatest villain is a guy named Bill. But it was a pretty good show. It was legitimately entertaining at the very least. There was another Japanese RoboCop called Jiban. I'm sure this has to mean something in Japanese, but I don't know what it would be. Jiban's not quite as entertaining, although he's much more RoboCop-esque. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and God mode it up, because this is a lot of enemies. And annoying. Yeah, because Jiban is much more like... Because, like, Jan Person is legitimately a robot. Like, he's not human at all, whereas Jiban is, but... since this is, you know, made for TV, Japanese TV, no less, you don't, like, see human bits. He literally just kind of, like, does a Power Rangers thing and turns into Jiban, if I'm not mistaken. And there's, like, Jiban, like, upgrades, like Prefect Jiban, which I think is some kind of rank. It's like he leveled up. He's now going to be behind a desk all day, every day. Okay, just give me the keys. This level annoys me. I can spell. Let's see. Show episodes more than at least an hour. Well, I mean, sitting down to watch a season of TNG is a bit hard because there's a lot of episodes in any given season of TNG or Deep Space Nine. Like, doing a full rewatch of DS9 is pretty hard because there's so much crap you have to get through to get to the good stuff. Like, the Dominion War story arc does not begin until Season 3, and I think it's the very end of Season 3, no less. It's kind of the same way with Star Trek, you know, the Borg, that's the end of Season 3. Like, you gotta get through a lot of crap to get to the Borg. Okay, let me give myself some ammo here. Was it 2020? There we go. So, or like, just about any TV show is going to be hard to get through. I mean, but the problem is, like, modern day TV shows, they compress so much, and so there's not as much character development as I would like to see. Okay, let's turn that off. Let's save again. Yeah, the new Star Trek Strange New World season look like it's going to be okay, but one of the problems with Strange New Worlds is they're introducing all this crap that... Really, this is supposed to be a prequel, is it? Certainly doesn't look like a prequel. It's like a giant Gorn invasion. Really? Why didn't Kirk ever talk about that? I think really, if they were smart, they would have just said it in the future. But they can't do that because of my Star Trek STD, which finally got canceled. Oh crap, I'm so dead. Juicy. Shows like 20 plus episodes. It's one of those things where you need to have writers that can write efficiently, that actually know, that don't waste your time. That's one thing I love about Warhammer 40k and Warhammer Fantasy, is they don't waste your time with bullshit that you don't care about. Because there's a lot of shit that happens in like the first 5 minutes of a Caiaphas Cain book. Like, they get that plot moving and they don't stop. I remember when I first started talking about Caiaphas Cain, people were like, oh, it's based on Blackadder. It's like, how the fuck was I supposed to know that? I'm from Texas. I don't get no BBC. Oh my. I really don't do that. I'm not really into that sort of thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Velma got canceled. Good. Because, yeesh. You ever look at, like, the original Scooby-Doo? It's like, it really makes the whole Velma concept look worse than it already does. Like, Scooby-Doo's this little, you know, light entertainment show that's not meant to be taken that seriously, and then they turn it into a modern-day psychotic bullshit show. Okay, let me go back to God mode. We're only on map 10 here, people. We're at this point where the game is extremely difficult. It's like, it seems like we've been playing for hours. But this is only map 10, and there's like 32 in this game. It's ridiculous. Even when you're not playing on Project Brutality, like, it still goes on a long time. Okay, let's go ahead and save. Let's turn God mode back off so we have a little bit of... be a little sporting. Sadly, just all the good writers have either died or aged out. And so we're kind of left with people who don't know what they're doing. Like, I'd even take, you know, pre-TDS John Scalzi. And for those who don't know who John Scalzi is, he wrote the Old Man's War series, which the first book was good. The second book was also good. The rest, not so great. John Scalzi is an example of a writer who really did not need to have access to social media. Because he really put his foot in it on a few occasions. One of those things where it's like, I do not want certain people reading my books. It's like, but what if they pay the bills? That's the sad part that, you know, it used to be anybody could read anything. Okay, let's run away. Let's run away. We'll valiantly run away. Discretion is the better part of valor. Is anybody shooting me in the back? No. Yeah, I've heard that the Penguin is doing pretty good. The only problem is I really don't care about the Penguin. Oh yeah, that reminds me. There was another Batman show that came out. Batman the Caped Crusader that apparently was terrible. I didn't watch it because, well, Oswalda Cobblepot? Really? They had to feminize the Penguin? That's what you use? Like, if you wanted a female-centric show, like, use a female villain. Like, why? And then there was also the, Joker 2 Folla Duh. Oh, you bastard. It's like, where it's got singing and dancing and crap. Is that really what people want? It's the same way with that stupid musical episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Is that really what people are asking for? Is to see Captain Pike dancing around like an idiot? Yeah, John Scalzi, he's one of those people that lived on Twitter for a very long time until I guess his publisher told him to stop and said a lot of stupid crap. But his book was great. Old Man's War. I'm actually doing a review of that next month. Old Man's War is great. Basically, the plot is it's half past the future. Earth is basically like it was in 2005, but we've got like space colonies. When people turn 76, they can join the Colonial Defense Force, and they get a new body and they fight against the Falzinos. It's pretty good. It's written from the first person. I do recommend it. Now, since it's a book from 2005, there's no political bullshit in it. It's just a good old-fashioned sci-fi story. I've read it like a million times. I actually got it from my uncle's 85th birthday. I think he'll like it. I got my uncle a copy of that book. I got it back in 2005, and yeah, it's pretty great. John Scalzi also wrote a book called Red Shirts, which is an affectionate parody of Star Trek. It's also pretty good. It's actually kind of funny how old some of this stuff is, because there was a audiobook version of Red Shirts narrated by none other than Shill Wheaton. And, you know, back when that audiobook came out, I was like, oh man, they got a Star Trek cast member, you know, reading it. That's great. And Shill Wheaton, to his credit, did a pretty good job. It's like, social media, man, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, I'm using social media right now, but it really gave people that have no filter unfettered access to too much. Oh dear. Well, then again, it is the modern day internet. And this is Project Brutality. Well, Silver Wings, you can probably guess they enjoy eating Cheetos. He certainly doesn't want Cheeto eaters to read his books. Let's put it this way. When everybody knew that a certain presidential personage needed to be in the old folks' home, he was saying how intelligent this person was, how on the ball that person was. But whatever. There's been a number of people who've tried to say that Mr. Bidet knew exactly what he was doing and was super smart and intelligent. I guess they kind of have to do that, because if they don't, they're not going to be invited to certain places or, you know, get certain jobs. But that's got to be rough to look at somebody who is obviously in mental decline and be like, yeah, I'm okay with that. Audiobook version of Q, Spock 1 and 2. Yeah, that would have been nice to see Q and Spock go at it. There's a Star Trek fanfic I read once that had Kirk and Spock have to... Not Kirk and Spock, but Kirk and Q have to go against each other. It was pretty good. I cannot remember what it was for the life of me, though. Review Tech USA deleted its channel. Man. I mean, that's kind of like turning down a lot of money. But whatever. But whatever. Political commentary channels. You know, I gotta tell you, for those of y'all watching, you don't have to worry about me ever turning into a political commentary guy, because, man, I'd hate to have to just spend my days reading articles that everyone else could just as easily read themselves. I mean, I guess I could get views, but, like, that is something I really do not want to do. Like, did you see what this person said today? It's like, no, please God, no. Yeah, there's a lot of Star Trek out there. I'm going to do a video on the Star Trek books next year. Sadly, there's not that many good Star Trek books. There's just a lot that are kind of garbage or really boring, because they got hard science fiction writers to write what is effectively a soft science fiction franchise. And so, like, a lot of the characters are very cold, very callous, you know. A lot of the plots are just very out there. But man, when Star Trek got good, it was good, though. I'm actually reading a Star Trek book right now. A modern Star Trek book, no less. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. But it basically deals with the aftermath of Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. It's set in 3 different time periods, one in 2024, and man, I don't know if the writer's like trying to surreptitiously make fun of current year, because the characters in that are like the most smug, self-righteous bastards imaginable. And then they've got stuff in the early 23rd century, and then like the late 23rd century, and that stuff's good. Like, that stuff is legitimately good. Branching out from politics and doing like Scott or Metal Jesus Rocks. Have him take down the channel for $200. Hope it'd be more than that. Dream of Mirror Universe. Yeah, the Mirror Universe novels are really good. David Mack is another one of those writers that really did not need a Twitter account, though, because he's had some crazy crap as well, which is kind of sad, really. Yeah, politics is just not that good of a thing to get into, because, like, it's all just depressing crap all the time. And if you're someone like me who's been around for a while, it's just gotten worse as time has gone on. And it hasn't really changed either. Like, the usual suspects are pretty much still the usual suspects. I remember, like, book blogs, that was a thing at one point, where people would review books. And I remember back when I used to read a lot of John Ringo stuff, which his stuff is not as good as I remember. Like, it's very amateurish, much more amateurish than I thought it was. I will say this, and, like, if I was a member of the political commentary community, I'd get excommunicated, but, like, I'll say that John Scalzi is a better writer than John Ringo. I mean, John Scalzi actually has characters and a plot, whereas John Ringo, he does have characters that are okay, but John Ringo is better when he has somebody to rein him in. Because if you don't have somebody rein John Ringo in, like, he starts getting weird. Like, really weird. And I don't even know if I could even say it on here, but he seems to be very fond of, like, shall we say, people who are limited in age. Nudge, nudge, hint, hint. Like, in some of his books, it's like, I don't want to read that. You can probably guess what I'm saying. There's also Dark Mirror. The Shatner Mirror Universe stuff, not very good. Just gonna say that. Did not enjoy it. But yeah, Dark Mirror pretty good. I'm gonna mention that in my Star Trek intro to Star Trek books video next year. For those who don't know, Dark Mirror is a book from, I think, 1993 that has, like, the Mirror Universe version of, like, the evil version of the Enterprise D. That got jettisoned in Deep Space Nine. But that was pretty good. That was one of the Mirror Universe variants. Star Trek is a very kind of like scattershot universe. Like, nothing is canon unless it's on TV. So a lot of the books contradict each other. They tried to make some sort of unified Star Trek book universe, but then it got canned because of Star Trek Picard. So, yeah, you figure that one out. And yeah, William Shatner did not write any Star Trek books. He put his name on there, and that sold, but he did not write them himself. And I know this because if you look at his books, it says William Shatner with Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens. And if you've ever read a book written by them, yeah, they wrote that book. They wrote all the Shatner books. And that's not a bad thing. It's like, I don't have a problem with William Shatner, you know, like, taking credit. I mean, it sells. When you see like a Star Trek book written by William Shatner, more people are willing to buy that book. Whereas, you know, having two really long names from people you never heard of. Now, Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens are fairly prolific writers. They did some episodes of, like, Batman the Animated Series, all kinds of stuff like that. My only problem with, like, the Mirror Universe is it doesn't make that much sense, though. Like, they should have just made it... The Mirror Universe is meant to be a fun TV thing, but the more you think of it, the more kind of silly it gets. It's like, they're all evil, really? And, like, everybody in that universe is completely evil? I don't know, because, like, how are you going to have children in a universe like that? I'm just saying, like, if everybody's evil and only looking out for themselves, the birth rates would be very, very low, and so how do you replace the population? There has to be at least a little bit of trust, otherwise, you don't have people have kids. If you don't have kids, your civilization collapses. The audio narrates the audiobook versions. It's kind of cool that he narrated the audiobook versions, but he totally did not write those books. Like, he did not. Maybe he had a little bit of input. Like, in Star Trek The Return, which I think is the first of the Shatnerverse books, Captain Kirk can literally out-commando Worf somehow. I mean, I could believe it, but I get the feeling that Shatner's like, oh yeah, and he can beat up Worf. And he does. And then there's a fight scene between Captain Kirk and Captain Picard, where they beat the crap out of each other. It's a pretty good book all around. It's the only good Shatnerverse book. The rest just aren't that great. And the writing team, the Reeves-Stevens writing team, also put in a lot of crappy books too. Like, every writer's gonna have a bad book here and there. I kind of like, I'm always singing the praises of Larry Correia, but he's put out a lot of bad books too, like the Son of the Black Sword series, which was his dark fantasy book series, which was so boring. I read the first and second books and then just noped out of the third. It's like he wanted money. And I appreciate that. I want money too, but if you're writing a book, come on, wrap it up. You didn't need 5 books to tell that story. And the story was basically, you got this guy who was like, originally he was like fantasy Judge Dredd, but then he learns that everything that he believed in was false, and he's got to like take down the evil government. It's like, that's cool, but, you know, did you need 5 books to tell that story? If it was written in the Warhammer Fantasy universe, that'd have been done in 3. And it'd have been better. Okay, where is that other key? Let's see. I'm very, very critical when it comes to books, though, because I've read so many good ones. It's like, can't all writers just, you know, do better? Do better, as Twitter would say. Alright, we're gonna go in here. I really do not like that variant of Cacodemon. That is real bullshit. I'm talking real bullshit. Yeah, it would be 1 book. They knew how to get... I'd like to know why books from the early 2000s were much more brief than modern books. I don't get it. Like, these modern day books take so long to do anything. I'm gonna blame George R.R. Martin. I mean, like, Winds of Winter? When's that coming out? Oh, to be perfectly honest, I don't care, because I never liked Game of Thrones. Just never really cared about that universe. It just seemed really boring. Blast him! Circle, strafe! You teleporting bastard! My biggest problem with most books these days is they just lack character. Usually they'll follow like 1 character and that's it. That's the problem I have with Star Trek. You know, until Strange New Worlds, they followed like a character. Let's see. I'm running Project Brutality, and this is just the basic Doom 2 levels. So, like, where we are now in the game is this right here was the demo that would play when you launch this in DOS. Now, let's remember this being the green level. It's not the worst level in the game, but, you know, once again, it's just kind of tiring because there's so many enemies. Like, even if we weren't playing in Project Brutality, it wouldn't be much better. And this is also the first level that has the Archvile in it, too. But they put you through a gauntlet. That's why I talk about a hardcore challenge. Yeah, modern books just pad way too much. The same way with comics. Comics and me never got along that well just because you kind of have to read every comic ever to know what's going on. Like, if you ever try to read Guardians of the Galaxy, if you just were to go and buy the Guardians of the Galaxy omnibus, what would happen is they'd be talking about, like, the Annihilation Wave. Like, what the hell is that? Or, did you know that Drax the Destroyer killed Thanos? Wait, he did? How? What? Like, they rely upon you knowing everything about everything, and it's just... And trying to read a comic book series sequentially, there's so much filler in that. Like, I tried to read all of the X-Men, and my God, there was so much filler. This is Project Brutality version 3. Play the new Duake mod. No, I have not. And hello, Dylan Ring Productions. Okay, you fucking thing. Just get a vapor. This is why God mode. This is why we invented God mode. This is why God invented God mode. I mean, it's kind of on the nose there, but yeah. I think we're just gonna God mode it up because, man, this is every bit as hard as I remember. Not part of a connected thing. Not superheroes. Like 2 or 3 of them. Street level crime characters. Not bad. Yeah. For the longest time, I'd only ever read, like, well, I say I only ever read. There weren't that many of them in the first place, but my favorite comics are the Aliens, Predator, and AVP comics, but there never were many of them. So, like, you could buy an omnibus of AVP comics, and it was, like, all of them. Or you buy an omnibus of Aliens comics, and it didn't rely upon every single piece of continuity from, like, 15 different comics. Trying to read Batman. Like, if you like Batman, that's hard to do. Like, remember in comic number 276? No, I didn't! I get the importance of continuity, but man, all that stuff is really impenetrable. Marvel is the worst for it. Yeah, we're just gonna totally God mode it. So I barely ever get to this point whenever I play this legitimately. Yep, there's the Archvile. That is the worst enemy in the game, though. Like, that thing is so hard to kill. It does so much damage. Ugh. Solomon Kane comics. Not read those. My problem with the Terminator comics is they don't really go anywhere. If I'm not mistaken, that whole series basically ended where it began, except John Connor was now a chick. So, I guess that's cool, but eh. That's the problem with Terminator. It just never knew how to end it. There was a Terminator book series written by S&M Sterling that had a good beginning and a good end. And that was actually not weird. S.M. Sterling is another one of those writers that's very weird. And nudge, nudge, hint, hint, wink, wink of what kind of weird I'm talking about. He wrote a book series where, like, a very famous book series called Honor Arrington, but, like, Honor Arrington's supposed to look like a 16-year-old girl despite being in her 50s. So, yeah. Make of that what you will. I do not understand. I do not understand it. I do not know. And yeah, Solomon Kane is a cool character. Thoughts on Doom: The Dark Ages? I don't know. I hope it's not quite as annoying as Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is a game I should like, but find annoying because you have to basically have the twitch reflexes of somebody who jammed a speedball of Red Bull and cocaine into their eye, and I don't really go for that sort of thing. So, yeah. Maybe if they slow it down a little bit, just let you shoot enemies, I could go for that. I mean, I'm probably gonna play it, because, well, I like my Doom. And one thing that's going to start showing up in Doom videos is going to be of me in a costume, because I happen to find a really good Doom Eternal suit. I gotta tell you, that Doom Eternal suit has grown on me. I'd be so dead right now. It's like there's no place to run. Hey, shut up, phone. Go away. Incredibly drunk. I just can't. Well, I mean, so long as it's a rare drunkening, I guess that's not too bad. But if that happens on a regular basis, you might want to, yeah. Alcoholism is not good. The General does not approve of alcoholism, unless it's like, there's nothing wrong with drinking, but you don't want to have it control your life. Okay, I thought there was a little computer over here. Yep, there it is. That's where I thought it was. Yeah, these levels just go on way too long. Let's see here. Yeah, Solomon Kane. For those who don't know who that is, Solomon Kane was written by the Conan writer, Robert E. Howard. And basically what Solomon Kane is, he is a witch hunter. and he hunts down various creatures and things of that nature. I think he's got like a magical sword and like a flintlock pistol. He's also got a witch doctor buddy that helps him take down like really powerful enemies. I have not read the book. I don't think it's actually even a book. I think it's mainly short stories. I've not read any Solomon Kane in years. There's even a movie that was actually remarkably not terrible. Released in 2012. That had one of the last roles. Was one of the last roles of Pete Postlewhite, who played as I think a sidekick. Ammo capacity is so low. Yep. Let's see. Combat, not very fun. And yeah, the lack of ammo is what really annoyed me as well. Okay, where the hell is the other switch? Actually, you know where the other switch is? The other switch is no clip. That's where the other switch is. There we go. I like how there's just a lever in that skull's head. But yeah, like, Doom Eternal, you're always chainsawing crap. Earth control beams down to message from space. Sensors have located the source of the alien invasion. If you go there, you may be able to block their entry. The alien base is in the heart of your own home city. Wait, Doom guys from Portland? Slowly and painfully, you get up to return to the fray. Oh god, I hated this level. Okay, where are we? We're on map 12. Map 13? No, map 13. Oh, I know how you do that. Okay, map 13. Oh crap, I don't remember what that is. I don't remember the console command to change the map. We might just no clip, because like finding the exit here is really difficult. If I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere down there. Making a GZ Doom ISK 3000. I don't know what that is in US dollars, but whatever. Isn't ISK like from EVE Online? I don't play that game, but it's a game called... One second, let me click over, move my window there. Malefact. Never heard of it. Map 13, okay. Okay, let's see. Map 13. I can't remember everything. There we go. You know, I used to like this map. Okay, I'm gonna give weapons, give ammo. Okay, there we go. I used to like this map, but once again, this is really, it goes on over long. It's like, oh my god, it's a city! I remember my old Doom review, I talked about how cool this was. It's like, it's a city, man. It's a very abstract city, but it is. I mean, if you're like 5 years old, it's like, that's the coolest thing ever, but coming back to it, it's like, this did not age that well. That's about $22. That's still a lot. What is so wait, is ISK real money? I thought that was like a currency from, like I said, from EVE Online. That's from my vague recollection of that. Or is that like some sort of foreign currency I'm not aware of? I can't know what every currency is. I actually apologize in my Predator Concrete Jungle for not realizing that the Borgias were important. It's like, I don't know about Italian fucking politics. How was I supposed to know that back then? I was like 20. Playing Quake 1 via source port. More than playing it. I don't really like Quake that much, to be honest. I find myself playing it whenever I do play it, which is rather rare, playing it via Quake Spasm as well, but usually with a mod. Like Quake 1.5 or something like that. There's another Quake mod that I play it with, but I can't remember what it's called now, that changes the projectiles. Icelandic Krona. Okay. Wow, Splattenburgers, you're in Iceland? Wow. The only thing I know about Iceland really is I know that Ian McCollum from Forgotten Weapons had some fermented shark that apparently wasn't that bad, except after you ate it. Like, the outgassing from the shark bits had a really strong aftertaste. Arcane Dimensions, yeah, that's the mod. Yeah, there's some really weird food out there. I'm kind of boring when it comes to food. You know, just give me a pizza, give me a burger, give me a taco, you know. Give me some biscuits with sausage in them. It's always kind of funny when you talk to somebody that has that uses like non-American English. I gotta be careful there because you can piss people off if you say British. You say like, well, it's British English. Like, it's not British. I'll kill you with a tray. Because like you say stuff like, oh yeah, it's a biscuit. It's like, what's a biscuit? It's like, you know, it's one of those bread things, you know? Oh, so a scone. Like, no, a scone's slightly different. As far as I know, like, in non-American English, it's actually a muffin. So it wouldn't be like a sausage McBiscuit, it would be a sausage McMuffin. It's like... I actually got myself into trouble not too long ago, saying that I lucked out. And I was like, yeah, I lucked out! And everybody thought that I was, like, saying, something bad. It's like, no, it's good! It's like, wait, isn't lucked out bad? It's like, no! And then I looked it up. And lucked out in non-American English does mean bad. It's like, how was I supposed to know that? How the fuck was I supposed to know that? Don't really play Quake 1 much myself. Like to train at Jackabole. Never even heard of it. And Quake 2 has the best gunplay. Quake 3, you know, like if you actually had friends, well, not you, who said that? Who the fuck said that? There we go. Mr. Tin Pan Man. But like, if one were to have friends, then Quake 3 would be great, but yeah, it's a multiplayer only game. So it's gonna lose its luster pretty fast. Let's see, what is that? Quake 4 is better shooting than Doom 3. I don't know. I'd have to play Quake 4 and Doom 3 side by side to really make that determination. I played Quake 4 on the Steam Deck a couple weeks ago, and you know the shooting in that is pretty good on the Steam Deck. Although it runs like shit for some reason. I mean, I could run Dark Souls 3, but Quake 4, you know, I'm getting frame drops all the time. I don't know what's with that. Take you somewhere unhelpful? Yeah. Uses the Icelandic currency. I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering what EVE Online uses. But I could have swore that was from EVE Online. I'll never forget, I bought an ex of mine, before they were an ex, a computer for Christmas, right? And the first game that person goes to play, EVE Online, and just plays it for like days. I just found that funny. It's like, I buy you an awesome computer and all you play is some mobile game. It's not a mobile game, some MMO. But yeah, one thing I've often found kind of interesting about females is females will play games that usually have some sort of horror base. I find that females like horror more than males in some respects. God damn it, fucking Pinky. Iceland has like 5 people in it. Splattenburgers, do you eat the fermented shark meat that Ian McCollum did in his video on it? I don't know if I'd want to eat fermented anything. I don't have any weaponry. Okay, you know what? We're gonna move on from this map. Okay. How long have we been running? 1 hour, 33 minutes. Okay, I won't cut it short, but let's go to the suburbs. Not the suburbs. I don't know why people hate the suburbs. They're great. Problems don't really help that the last couple of entries in the series were all just Quake 3 again. Yeah, Quake Champions. I streamed that ages ago. I mean, it's not terrible, but once again, it's not really a game. When I consider a game as something that has story and a single-player focus, like a multiplayer game is just something else entirely. Because multiplayer games die because they have to have a player base, and player bases move on to bigger and better things. And try Salmaki. I'm sure I'm butchering that. If that's that fermented shark thing, probably not. Because I live in the burbs myself. And I find the suburbs to be, you know, pretty good. I remember I dated a girl once, though, who, despite being a person who was from the suburbs, like, that's where people go to die, man. It's like, so wait, you want to live in a city? This person I dated was slightly before the Summer of Love, so I'm sure they changed their tune after that, but still, though, it's like, you want to live in the middle of a city, do you? If I had my choice, and I don't, I would live much more rurally. I would shop at a Dollar General. If I could live in, like, in a small town, you know, with trees. There used to be trees here, then every idiot in the country moved here for some reason. I wonder why. So, yeah, they cut down all the fucking trees and everything. They already were doing that. But I swear, they cut down more trees in the last 5 years than they did in the last 15. Is heavily salted licorice. That doesn't sound too bad. Doom the Dark Ages is a Doom game. I think Doom the Dark Ages would actually make for a good Quake game. We need something Quake related. We need something that's not just the same old crap we've seen over and over again. I mean, we've already had two. Even though I didn't like Doom Eternal, it's still a high quality game regardless. We already had two high quality Doom entries. Let's get back to Quake, maybe. Hopefully. Throw a grenade. Come on, blow him up. Let's see, Tried Shark and a bunch of other nasty shit that's considered traditional is alcohol. Well, that does help. Yeah. Single player games with optional co-op. Hell yeah. Let's see. Far out in the woods for no shooting off my guns. Now that'd be cool. Well, yeah, I did like it back in 2020. That's something I need to cover at some point in a video, where I kind of talk about like how my opinions can change. Hype is a thing, and it does actually affect people, and it affected me a lot back then. It's like, oh man, it's a new Doom game. It's got to be the greatest ever. But, you know, once I started really thinking about it, once I tried to play it more than once, you know, it's like, yeah, it's not that great. Once I started to really see it for what it was, that's when I started to really dislike it. Because, like, if you were to play Doom Eternal one time, it's not bad, but to me, a good game is something that can stand up to repeated playthroughs, which to me, Doom Eternal can't, because it just gets, it gets old. It's just not that great. Once the hype dies down, it's just not something I'll put it this way. 20 years from now, I don't think I'm going to be playing Doom Eternal, whereas to this day, I still play Doom 3. Or, well, here we are playing classic Doom 30 years in the future. Let's see. Is that there's no atmosphere? Oh, Peninsula. Oh yeah, I would love to have access to my own land. I got to do that a little bit on my grandfather's land, but sadly, the economy is not nice, and it hasn't been for some time. Yeah, the best way to shoot is to have your own land. You know, you can set up some steel, you know, you can set up targets. Every time I throw out an empty tea jug, I'm like, you know, you can fill that with water and shoot at it, it'd be awesome. But, yeah, land is not cheap anymore. It wasn't cheap to begin with. Let's see. Yeah, I come back to Doom 4 on occasion myself. Trees are being cut down in the suburbs. Good. You don't want to just have everything be denuded and replaced with mini malls. You've got a Walmart, you got a nail salon, you got a gas station. It's like, but wait, there's gas stations all up and down this street. Why do we need another one? Or more nail salons. It's just not fair. Or all those commie block apartments. Those things are just disgusting. Imagine living on the 4th floor. Yeesh. Still has action-heavy elements. They did kind of tone down a little bit of the... I like the Doom Slayer in the modern day Doom. That's the one thing I really like about that. Is I like him sort of being like this superhero. But yeah, the games just aren't as memorable. And once again, I really like that Doom Eternal suit now. it has grown on me. I like it a lot more than I initially did. Because, like, the Praetor suit is a little too busy. The original Doom suit is a little too cartoony, but the Doom Eternal suit really does bridge that gap. And I do like the fact that the Doomslayer has his massive muscles just kind of hanging out there. I mean, his muscles are so manly, it can survive the vacuum of space. Direct. Oh, man, that's not good. Oh, dear, that's not good. Those, shall we say, low-income housing environments, not good. Not good. I mean, it will be perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with that. Ugh. Oh, yeah, we got the, I never really get this power-up, but I love it. This slow-mo power-up. I cannot imagine how they got that to work, but it's awesome. That the new Doom games link back to the original series apparently take place in the Doom 3 universe. I don't think it takes place in the Doom 3 universe. I think it takes place in sort of like an ultimate Doom universe. It's kind of a melange of everything. Let's see. Favorite game. The reason why I don't like Quake that much is, it's a lot like this game here. It's got too much, well, I say this game, it's kind of like Doom 2 where the levels go on over long. I really hate the Ogre in particular. That is the most annoying enemy in all of id Software. It takes so many hits to bring down, and the games just feel tedious. Or just the levels in Quake 1 just feel so tedious. And, like, I'll play through the shareware episode on occasion, but outside of that, it's just meh. Well, funny you should mention that, Zoo Generous. There actually is a Doom 2 mod that's supposed to be... The trailer purports to be the real Doom 3. I don't know if it's actually any good. I just downloaded it last week, but I haven't had a chance to play it. It's just Doom 3 for Doom 2. Let's see. For me, though, I like Doom 3. It's my favorite Doom game of all time. Because it's, it's well balanced. The levels are fun. They never go on too long. Just, I don't like long levels, because I like to feel some sense of progression. Let's see, how are we doing? Okay. I hear a Revenant somewhere. Okay, let me save real quick. Yeah, Doom 64, I like that game well enough, but I've never come back to it. And Final Doom, yeah, the difficulty on that is too high for my taste. Like, Final Doom is such a slog. I've seen Wretched, but I haven't actually got around to that either. I've seen it. There's just too many games, too little time. Especially when you gotta work 7 days a goddamn week. My problem with Doom 3, or Doom 64, is that it was too dark. People thought Doom 3 was dark. Pfft. Yeah. Try Doom 64. Need to stream Doom 64 at some point. Okay, give me keys. Just give me all the keys. I think eventually we're gonna just go and shoot John Romero's head. Oh, yeah, there we go. Keys. I think that's map 30, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, when we get closer to 2 hours, we'll go shoot John Romero's head. I mean, that's one thing I love about the 90s. You could never do that today. CE, which is all the fan-made episodes. Huh. Neat. I never even heard of that. Never even heard of that at all. That's the thing I like about the past versus the present is the current year is just so serious. Why so serious? Okay. Because, like, in the modern era, you can't have something like John Romero's head, or if you did, they'd have to lampshade it in some way. Whereas in these days, it's like it's just there. You just kind of accept it. Give me all the good stuff. The genre in-game was a glorified tech demo. I can see that. I haven't thought about that, about Civi in a very long time. Yeah, Reddit writing, I hear that one. It's like, thanks to a combination of 9/11 and the 24-hour news cycle, a lot of the humor is just kind of gone from the culture. Although, you gotta consider that we've got more ISK! I could buy me a new ship! But thank you, Splattenburgers. Serious for a moment, creating a game, investing serious money into it. Promoting it, holy crap! Okay. What's the game about? Crap, I need to actually have some way for you to contact me. Let's see, I'm trying to think how to do that. You know what I'll do? I'll actually go ahead and post the Discord server link into the chat. There is Discord. Here we are. One moment, ladies and gentlemen. I just gotta find the link. And even if you don't want to pay me to promote your game, you can also join the Discord. I always forget to put the link in there. There it is. No, that's not it. I've not used Discord in a while. I can't remember how to find the... No, I don't want to create channel. There it is. Invite humans. There we go. Bam. Let's see. Yeah, I do have an email, but I don't want to put that in the chat. Let's see. Try Doom 3 mod for Doom 2. Found the level design visually pleasing, but very unfair and unbalanced. Ooh, that's not fun. Yeah, eventually I'll get around to playing it. Just don't have the time these days. No problem, Splattenburgers. I'll look at that after the stream. Yeah, I used to have a Discord link in every video, but I stopped doing that because it got hacked a few years back. And all sorts of fun things were posted in there until I took it down. It's actually kind of funny. I had left my computer to go take a shower, and the second I got out, my phone was getting blown up by like, General, check your Discord, check your Discord. It's like, what? I just stepped away for like 5 fucking minutes. So yeah, now I don't really, I keep that mostly private now, so it can't be hacked and turned against me. Thank you, PC Mikey. Well, Splattenburgers, I've talked to people who are... It seems that people who live in countries other than the US can drink, like, gallons of alcohol like a goddamn dwarf from Warhammer and still be perfectly, understandable. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's weird. You're not the first person who I've read drunk text from, and usually they make as much sense as anybody else, so don't ask me why people... how that works. Maybe y'all have better alcohol than we do over here. It's not made out of rice! Turok Doom, Legacy of the Fire Seeds. Have not had a chance yet. There's too many games, too little time. It's always funny to talk to somebody who is supposed to be drunk, but they make perfect sense, and you wouldn't have known unless they told you. Now, I personally don't drink at all. I've never drank. I drank like a couple beers back in 2010. I was like, they tasted nasty. I just never really got into that. I drank some mead once at a Renaissance fair. I thought it tasted kind of okay. Still was kind of gross though. Okay, fuck this map. Where are we at? We're at 1 hour 49. Okay. I don't want to get to John Romero's head just yet. Let's go to map 20. Not 10. No, I can't. There we go. Gotcha. Oh, I remember this map. I don't think it's actually that great. Also, that's bullshit. You should not be attacked the second you spawn into the map. But yeah, this is the map with the guy in it. that thing. Well, it's random zombies. No, they've got the spider mastermind versus the cyber demon. I'm gonna die in the first 5 seconds here. And yes, this is Project Brutality. Here we go. There they are. And I know it's gonna get vaporized in the first. Mixed Coke with lemon alcohol. 5 million channels. Yeah, you know, that's from a different time when I was like trying to have like a channel for everything. I probably need to clean that up at some point. What's your thought on gaming news? Doing a future group talking about how gaming used to be. Gaming news is boring these days because nothing good is coming out. There's actually a parody video I saw about how, like, there's no games on PS5. There's really no reason to get it. The most boring and tedious id game is Wolf 3D. You know, I can agree with that. Wolf 3D has its place in gaming history, but after you get through the first episode, it does go on way too long. My recommendation, though, if you want to play the best version of Wolf 3D, play the Super Nintendo version. The controls are a lot better, the levels are a little shorter, and I find that to be the best version of that game. It's the most playable. Came out some of them pretty good weapon mods. Very nice indeed. I'll have to get to that whenever I have time. There's so many games. I'm glad I don't just play bad games. But yeah, SNES, Wolfenstein, best version. Best version by far. And you wouldn't think it. But it really is. And so that is not the Spider Mastermind. I don't know why that's there. I don't know why that spawned like that. I've not played the 3DO or Mac versions, so I couldn't say. And yeah, I have heard the Jaguar is supposed to be pretty good, but the Super Nintendo version, I just find that to have the best controls. Oh! Cyber Demon won. Now I'm just gonna shoot him in his head with a bunch of nails. Oh, he has no head! Probably shouldn't have stood right there as he exploded all over me. Oh my. Yeah, next year I'm actually gonna start on a new video series called the Gamer Guides. It's gonna be like those reader's guides I put out this year, except for different systems. It's gonna be a Super Nintendo Gamer's Guide, you know, an N64 one, all kinds of stuff like that. I know there's videos like that already, but I kind of want to do one myself. I talk about like the essential games. You're definitely gonna want to emulate the vast majority of these games though, because like you wouldn't. Because if I recommend Mega Man X3 for Super Nintendo, you're not buying that game because that's like $300 or $400 now, and it's probably not worth it. Let's see. Yeah, Return to Castle Wolfenstein really isn't an id game. It has their name on it, but yeah, it was developed by somebody else. Doom and Wolf on Jag are good. Huh, I need to actually do more Jag stuff. Now that I think of it, I did play Doom on 3DO at a con once, about 6 years ago, and I don't remember anything about it. I do know that Doom on 3DO, there's been many videos talking about that, but basically, Doom on 3DO is really bad, but the fact that it exists at all, let's see, hold on, let me just type in God, that is nothing short of, well, a miracle from God himself. Because basically the person who owned this game company that wanted to make it for 3DO just gave this programmer like a JPEG and said, put Doom on 3DO and also do it in like 3 months. And somehow this developer did it in 3 months. I mean, it didn't run very good, but the fact they did it at all is nothing short of extraordinary. You bought a $700 Spider-Man? Holy crap. I don't even know what Web of Fire even is. Let's see. Doom 3. Let's get cooking. Sony PS3s. Yeah, the RPSC3 emulator. Yeah, try to say that 5 times fast. Yeah, I've played around with some PS3 games. Although, once again, I got so many games. Let's see. Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut. I don't think I've even heard of that. I know what Clay Fighter is. I played that once. Back in the 90s. I remember back in the 90s, I'm going to mention this in the SNES review as well, or the SNES thing as well. But back in the 90s, the local movie rental place had this deal where you could get 5 Super Nintendo games for 5 days for $5. And that's how I was able to play through a lot of the Super Nintendo library. Well, I say through a lot of the Super Nintendo library, but that's how I played a lot of Super Nintendo games, was via that. So that's how I was able to play Mega Man X and other games such as that. And it was thanks to the Super Nintendo itself that I got back into retro gaming in the first place, when I found a copy of AVP. I know people hate on that game, but it's really not that bad. I mean, when you consider what it is, it at least is a functional, you know, side-scrolling beat-em-up. Just blast them. I like how there's dirt in the sky. Is immortal. Well, you know, that's something I've always thought about. You know, like, this has been a pretty niche channel. Not too many. I don't even have like 20 or 30,000 subs or anything. But you know what? I enjoy doing it. And that's one of those things, you know, just because you might not get super popular, if you enjoy doing something, why stop doing it? Let's see. I wonder how modern id Software Wolfenstein game would be. Yeesh, I don't know how crazy everything is. 32x game. Okay. I can see why that'd be $700. Okay, we finish reading the thing here. Yeah, Shinobi for the PS2. The fact that that's collectible makes me feel really old now. Alpha Prime come from? Alpha Prime was kind of a crappy Eurojank game. The whole... why is the hub theme from Turok 2 playing? Okay, whatever. This is a weird music mod. If they got fucking Turok music playing, I'm not complaining, but it's not exactly Doom, now is it? But yeah, I enjoy making these videos, and you know, I don't really plan on quitting anytime soon. And you never know, some video might go viral or something. Honestly, I'm kind of happy I didn't get super popular, because the more popular you get, the less freedom you have. Because, like, if you've got, like, say, you know, 100,000 subs, you're gonna have all kinds of other people complaining about what videos you do. You'll have Reddits made. Look at, like, James Rolfe, the AVGN. He's got, like, multiple Reddits just complaining about him. Multiple videos that have millions of views complaining about current AVGN. It's like, it gets less fun to a certain extent the more popular you get, because then you've got all these expectations, and if you, oh, what did he say now, you know, I don't know if I really want to have to deal with that. So I'm kind of happy it stayed small. I've met a lot of really cool people via the YouTube channel, and still do. So I got a lot out of this, even if it wasn't money. I mean, money's good, but people are worth a little more than that. Are you? No, I'm not. No, I am not. Let's see. Nostalgic for Donkey Kong Country 2. Super Nintendo in 2011. I bet that was a lot more expensive. So the term Alpha Prime, I picked it just because it was cool. It's not based on anything. Basically, around 2017, I started, like, compiling all the stuff that I liked so I could find it easier. And I just came up with a name for it that sounded cool to me. And Alpha Prime, man, it's like, it's the best of the best of the best, sir. I didn't even know there was an Alpha Prime game. Like, a game literally named that. Let's see. Venom 3, I have not seen it. The Venom series is kind of weird. I'm surprised Venom got his own film series in the first place. Sent the messages to the correct user. And yeah, the 540 meme. See, like, I don't want to get so popular that people make memes about me yet. Okay, I see you there. Yep. Yeah, Splattenburgers, I sent you a response. Animation Venom movie. Oh, hell yeah. I think most superhero things should be animated because they can do a lot more crazy crap in them and have it actually look good. Whereas, you know, CG has its limits, especially if you don't have a huge budget. That's why Transformers, those movies just aren't that great. You know, you can only have the Autobots on screen for so long, and that's why you got stupid Shia LaBeouf waddling around like an idiot. Or Megan Fox being, you know, a plastic mannequin. I'm just saying, you know, those plastic blow-up dolls have more personality. Let's see here. But yeah, being a smaller channel is just a lot easier. I can do whatever I want. And I can say whatever I want. Like, imagine, if you will, the AVGN, like, came... Actually, that already happened! That already happened, now that I think of it. There's a YouTuber named JonTron. He went on a stream with a guy, what was his name now? This beardy guy, who was a conservative commentator, right? And man, JonTron got all these death threats. They tried to cancel him. And that's just going on a stream. So yeah, the more popular you get, the more eyes you have on you, the less you can do without getting into trouble. Okay, I think that's map 30. Yeah, let's go shoot John Romero's head. Alright, so here's the Icon of Sin. Now, when I was a kid, I had no idea what this even was. It's like, where's the boss? It's like, what am I doing here? Basically, what you gotta do is you gotta shoot a rocket at just the right spot to get him with splash damage. But I never could figure out where to do that at, so I just no-clipped inside of there. And we're probably gonna do that in just a second. Yeah, Sargon of Akkad, yeah. Yeah, JonTron did that and got into so much trouble it wasn't even funny. I don't know what they talked about. I think I did at one time know what they talked about, but I don't remember it all. But they were talking about Morassicisms and all the rest, you know. Destiny. That name looks familiar. But I'm not sure who that is. But yeah, I assume Destiny is like in the political commentary sphere where they're basically just reading off articles or playing videos someone else talked about. That's always been my problem with stuff like that. It's such lazy content, you know? And it gets so many views. It's like, did you see what this person said today? Taylor Swift said this. It's like, I don't really care who what Taylor Swift had to say. So yeah, you know. Okay, so we're gonna go shoot John Romero's head by no-clipping through the Icon of Sin, but I never could figure out what to do here. I assumed you shot the little lava thing, but I never really seemed to do anything. So, as a kid, what I did, also say he's glad people are drowning in hurricane. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm picturing like this Destiny. You say he was a guy? Yeah, he's a terrible person. I picture him being just a blue hair weirdo of some description. Okay, so as a kid, I would no-clip around, and then I went in here, and it's like, it's John Romero's head. Not that I knew who John Romero was. I had no idea what this was. Like, I had no clue who this guy was supposed to be. I just assumed this was some kind of glitch or something. Because I was like, well, 5. And like, that is such a weird thing. You got some random severed head. Knowing who it is doesn't make it that much better. It's like, why is this severed head there? What's the point of this? But you know what? I don't care. I like the fact that that severed head is there. I think it's just kind of funny. This is back when developers were regular people. I think that's the big problem with like modern gaming, and you can even tie this into like YouTube channels. You know, once people get big, they stop just being regular people. They become these media personalities. So, you know, this comes from a time in gaming where the people developing games were just regular people like you or I. Now it's all, you know, watched like you wouldn't believe, so. Deadbeat dad and his kid hates him. Not much to see yet. See no more information. Alright, I'll take a look at that. Map 23. Alright. Okay, so we defeated the horrendous visage of the biggest demon you've ever seen. Okay, let's go to map 23. Map 23. Oh, I remember this one. I like this one as a kid. And Dark Chihiko, I don't know why your message got rejected, because I know Dark Chihiko from real life, and I doubt he'd said anything that would be worthy of redacting, but you know how YouTube is. Basically shooting rockets in that lava hole. But yeah, the lava hole. Oh my, somebody had some Taco Bell. I know that's a common meme, but I remember Taco Bell being mostly okay. Actually, let's just God mode it so we can just blow the barrels. Bap. Because I've played this legit. I did my time, damn it. Boom. Yeah, Barrels of Fun. I remember this. I used to play this one a lot. Just because it was so different from these other ones. Okay, do I have weapons? No, I don't. That's the one problem with Project Brutality right here. It's like, you get these, like, super caco demons, and you cannot dodge. Well, you can, but, like, this would be impossible. And this is, like, on Harsh. I mean, look at that. They'd be doing so much damage. It's like, it's practically begging you for just God mode. I know we've been God moding it up, but next week we're going to be doing, Dark Souls, which, yeah. Which, yeah. Taco Bell fell off after 2005. That was in Doom 4, I don't remember that. Does not remember, but I haven't played that game in a while. I'd put that on the Steam Deck, but that's like 50 gigabytes. I don't want to use up all my SD card. I think that's the cheapest enemy in the entire game. Like, the fact that they can shoot that much shit at you. I mean, the rest of the enemies are pretty doable, but that guy, yeah, I don't think so. The random barrels of sludge. Yeah, in the Doom novel, they kind of justified that. I'm actually going to remake my Doom novel reviews. Essentially, I want to, like, tweak them a little bit, actually have some gameplay in the background, you know, instead of just the book cover. And I'm actually going to record some special introductions, that sort of thing. Eventually, I'm going to get to that Doom fanfic that everybody kept recommending to me. Because I finally have that, but I've not had a chance to read it yet. Alright, we're going to blow some more imps. And then eventually we're going to call, and soon we're going to call it a day. Going to be going 2 hours. And I am running out of energy fast. Yeah, these Architron variants, they're not bad, but I never was big on the whole fleshy look. Oh my god. Really? Mancubus? Alright, we're going to kill him, then we'll call it a day. And we will use our Quake 4 Black Hole Gun. And we're going to miss. Does have a long charge up time, that's for sure. Ugh. Oh no, you're not... Holy crap, what's this? I don't remember this. We got like a BFG, like, minigun that ran out of energy about as fast as you'd expect. We'll kill him with an axe! That axe does a lot of damage! Now, why are you running? Why are you running? I got an axe. He's still alive. Throw the axe at him! Really? I couldn't have done that better myself, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, I'm glad everybody got to attend another live stream. Next week we're going to play some Dark Souls. And until then, I am General Lotz, wishing you good. Doom 2 whatever makes you happy.